So Christopher, you're floating in a Meditank currently. How's that going?
Great. This is our first video of someone floating in the Meditank. The water's around 91 degrees. It's really comfortable. It's a little bit lower than a normal flotation tank because your body's totally surrounded with the water, and so you feel temperature, like variances in temperature, a lot more. Yeah. There's different positions I can go in. I can kind of sit cross-legged like this, and then my back will touch here. My favorite position is just putting my toes down and kind of behind me, and then I just kind of float more in the middle. And the only thing that really touches is my toes. And after a while, you don't even notice it.
It's pretty dark with your goggles on.
Pitch black. Yeah. Yeah, and this one holds about at least 200 gallons of water.
How much salt goes into that?
This is about, I'd say, I think we got about maybe 190 pounds in here.
What sort of contrasts have you noticed between horizontal and vertical floating?
Well, as you can see, most of my body's in the water, so I'm experiencing closer to true zero buoyancy like a diver would if I was in the water. So if you're a horizontal, half your body's out of the water, and you're more like a boat on top of the water. Instead of in here, you're more like a submarine, almost completely submerged in the water, except for a little periscope, which is like your head sticking out the top. I would say just the meditative quality, like I'm very alert because I'm sitting straight. I'm not gonna fall asleep. And there has been times where I've drifted off and my nose will touch the water, and that'll kind of pop me right back into my normal meditative state. You'll drift into theta, but you won't go unconscious and go into delta waves like you do in a horizontal. With the vertical, you just kind of, it's pretty easy for me to maintain theta, get a lot of visual imagery, and just kind of stay there. Yeah.
How long do you usually float for?
It just depends on how much time I have. Today I'll probably just only float 4 hours, you know. But it varies. I've gone as long as 12. 12 hours, you'd think you'd be uncomfortable. After a while, you're not. In these, you can just, I probably could have floated 24, and you just get more and more relaxed, you know. I mean, one of the original reasons for doing this is because I heard about Vipassanas and how people sit for 10 or 12 hours a day, and how a lot of people, because we're not used to sitting too much in this country, you know, meditative style, that people come under a lot of stress and a lot of discomfort. And I thought, you know, you should be rewarded for being in a meditative state. You shouldn't be like, kind of like punished, you know. Or see, when you're sitting and you're going through pain, you're kind of have a certain, you're waiting for that pain to end. You're kind of suffering through it, so you have a certain amount of intent. So you're kind of waiting for it to be over, or you're waiting for some later time where you're going to feel better, and you think you kind of have to suffer through it. Well, to me, I don't think that's necessary. I think you can, I thought of setting up a bunch of these for Vipassana, and people just float in these for 10 to 12 hours a day. Yeah, I actually used one of these when I was doing a darkness retreat for 30 days, and I'd float every day for anywhere from 4 to 6 hours. It's very, very nice.
What do you think that did for what benefit did that provide for your darkness retreat?
Well, that made it really easy for me to fall into a very loose routine. I felt like I needed just a little structure, and so I'd wake up in the morning and just take a shower. First thing I would do is just get in the tank and float, and that kind of set up the rest of my day, because I just kind of came out of a lucid state. It was really nice in you know, sleeping at night. Could float in the tank. Knew exactly what I was going to do, and then afterwards I could do a little exercise on a rebounder, do some more meditation, you know, eat lunch, and it was a nice kind of like loose structure that I had that I just knew I'd do every day after I woke up. So I wasn't like wondering what I was going to be doing. I just kind of knew, you know. It feels all like one piece instead of like my head is separate from my body. It just feels like I'm just one piece. It just feels good. Yeah. It's hard to describe a float because it's outside thought, you know. To me, this feels like just a little piece of the ocean, like I feel like I'm floating out on a reef. You know, after a while you totally lose track that you're actually in a tank or a box, and you just feel like you're out somewhere else. You almost kind of forget. I mean, for me, it's peace of mind. I just feel like I have more space around me when I'm floating. Kind of like more atmospheres. I feel more and more like opened up, so to speak, more cleaned out. It to me it's kind of like a purging where just the residual thought, which isn't bad, but it's all secondhand, it's all limited, it's all mechanical, it's not really that necessary, is floating around, and this just kind of puts it in its proper perspective, where it just kind of lets it flow away, you know.